Hello everyone, Monty here, and today I'm doing the chat on goal setting. It's called SMART Goals. It's a goal setting program that I learned in business. A lot of people follow it, and I did this chat a couple of times on Weight Watcher Connect. I did it once a lot when I first joined Instagram, and then I just recently did it, but then something happened with my phone and the video got corrupt. And so anyway, where we talked about how I feel that people aren't 100% committed, and the way I find out that they're not committed is by asking them questions. Like one of the first things I ask somebody, they say they've been trying to lose weight. And I say, oh really? So are you counting calories? No. Are you any kind of structured diet? No. Do you have any goals written down for how you want to lose? No. And then I'm like, okay, this person's not committed. If somebody doesn't counting calories on some regimented diet and exercise program, you need both guys, right? You don't have to work out 6 days a week like me, but you need to be on a regular exercise and diet program. The two work together, but I do feel diet is 75% of it, just so you know. Because I'm working out 6 days a week, I can't shake this last 10 pounds because I'm eating too many calories a day, every single day. But anyway, so again, goals is very important. If you don't have goals, it's your roadmap. How are you going to get to your goals? How are you going to transform and change? If you keep doing the same thing, obviously that's not going to work, so you got to do things differently. So I'm going to talk about some personal goals that I have. I'm going to also explain SMART goals to you. So SMART goals is an acronym. Let me make sure I'm not of SMART, measurable, attainable, realistic, and timely. Now I hand drew out a little timeline. I'm going to go over this with you, right? But I did it on Visio, but it was too small. I did my goals on Visio, which is an architectural kind of drawing program, but it was too small. When I held it up, you wouldn't be able to see it on camera. So let's talk about all these acronyms. What does each one mean? So when you're setting goals, I typically tell people to do goals for a year or 6 months. Some people feel like a year is just too long a period of time and it's overwhelming to them. So if that is the case with you, do 6 months. It's not important how long you do it for, the fact that you're doing it and you're regularly checking in to see how you're performing against your goals. I have 3 goals this year. My goals are to get into a relationship. I put my job and my career always before that. Although I've had boyfriends I was in a long relationship for 6.5 years, and I never was without a boyfriend for the last 2.5 years. I have not had any relationship whatsoever in 2.5 years because I've been traveling all the time. I had all the family stuff going on with my brother passing away and me moving several times and building 2 houses and my mother's cancer and taking care of my mother and everything else. And I put everything, in front of myself. And it's funny, when I finally decide to work on a relationship, we have Corona, right? Which is, social distancing, not really conducive to this. However, I thought, what a great way to meet somebody, mostly on the internet, talking and on the phone and whatever, get to know them before you meet them face to face. But we're going to talk about that all in a while. But anyway, because I don't believe in any excuses for anything going on. So SMART, the S in SMART is for specific. Now I'm going to use weight loss as an example for goal setting, right? And it's one of my 3 goals, weight loss. The relationship is the other, and then having a year's worth of bills in the bank. Because when Corona happened, I was worried I was going to get laid off from this customer project, and my company, I'm a billable consultant. It's like you have 3 weeks to find another project and they'll lay you off. Now, although, it wouldn't be total devastating to me, I have enough money to retire, but I really just want to keep working for another 5 to 9 years. I have a whole plan for myself, but I'm not ready to retire right now. It would really affect my retirement fund and all that kind of stuff. I think I need at least 5 more years working. So people that I know that had a year's worth of bills in the bank, they weren't sweating this at all. And I figured, that's what I want. Because I only had like maybe two months of bills in liquid cash, and then I'd be going into my retirement, funds and my other investments, which are invested long term. I would lose money if I cashed them in. So I was freaking out. So I'm thinking, I want what I call FU money, right? So if you ever were really upset with your job or you got laid off, it's like, screw this, I don't care. I got enough money to last me a year. It won't take me a year to find another job. I'm in technology where there's a very high demand. So let's get back to this. The S in SMART is for specific. You have to be very specific. If we're going to use the example of weight loss, I want to lose, let's say you're doing a year, let's pretend we're doing a year's goal. I want to lose 25 pounds this year. That's a specific number. M for measurable, well, very easily. Measurable is going to be, basically the weight you want to lose, and you're weighing yourself, right? And so that's another very easy one to measure. You're measuring it by the weight. Achievable. Is it achievable? Well, one of the things is I always find that people are very unrealistic about how much weight they should be losing. Any nutritionist, Weight Watchers, other things I've read, they all say the same thing. For a man, it should be 1 pound to 2 pounds a week. A woman, 1 pound to 1.5 pounds. Men lose weight faster than women. So if you are, let's say you're just trying to do goal for, I'm just going to use for a round number. I'm going to say let's say if they're 50 weeks, whatever you don't want to go to, let's say 52 weeks, 1 year. You're doing your goal for a year, 52 weeks. If you want to lose 100 pounds, right? Well, you're going to be a little bit shy of that. If you want to lose 150 pounds, well, guess what? That's not really attainable because you only can lose about 2 pounds a week if you're a man, right? So and for a woman, it's even less, right? So it's just, it has to be attainable. It has to be something realistic if it's weight loss. If it's like for me, one of my goals is having years worth of bills in the bank. I've already figured it out. I could do that. I already have about 4 months right now. I make enough money. I just spend money like a crazy man, right? And my bills aren't that big. My house is almost paid for. I just have my car payments, my insurance, but usually your house is your biggest thing. I have no credit card debt. So I could do it. I mean, people think, oh, you couldn't possibly put away. Yeah, I can. My bills aren't that high. And I make a lot of money. The problem is I'm a little crazy with money and I really have to dial it back. So anyway, we'll get into that as well. So specific, measurable, is it achievable, attainable? We talked about that in the weight example. Does the mathematics add up? Relevant. Now, that one more is really for business. Is it relevant? But we can say, is it realistic, right? Because again, going back to achievable, is it realistic? How much weight you want to lose or your body to transform. If you want to be like 8% body fat, and to lose all the weight and become 8% body fat is a very big goal, and maybe it's not that realistic. Time bound, very important. You have to say to yourself, you have to put a time on it, because if you don't put a time on it, the way our human instinct, I'll get to that tomorrow, I'll start my diet tomorrow, you have to put a time on it, and you have to check in on your goals all the time. So now that you understand what each one is, you're going to make sure that when you're writing your goals, they're specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, or realistic, and time bound. You're putting a time on it. So for me, I like to do 1 year goals. This is the start. I started in March when Corona happened that I was going to set my goals, these 3 major goals, and my 3 major goals, it's a 1 year timeline. My 3 major goals are to find a relationship, be in a relationship, my unemployment fund to be 100% funded, and lose 10 pounds. Now it's interesting in going through this exercise when I did it, I realized something that I never had before when I goal set it. I have one goal that kind of may affect my other goal negatively, right? So let me tell you what I did. So in March, I decided on these 3 goals, and each little line represents a month. So there's 12 little lines for the 12 months, where I put a milestone here at halfway, because you really should do a quarterly check. You should do your first quarter check like they do in business, then a halfway midpoint, then a third quarter check, which I put a little star here, right? And then the end line here. So this third point will be really drastic if you're really far away. Here's you want to evaluate. I'm halfway there. Am I halfway to my goal? Am I halfway there? How am I doing? So what I did now, it's now June. This is the 3rd month. This is my quarter check-in. So I did my quarter check-in, right? Every month I kind of made notes of what was going on. So let's talk about my relationship one, for example. First month, I joined Match. Match cost me $119, I think it was, for 6 months. So again, I swore I wouldn't spend a lot of money, although it's not a huge amount of money, because that would affect my goal for my unemployment fund. I'm trying to spend less. Now I'm spending more to be on Match. Second month, for that goal of relationship, I actually went and I met somebody. I told people, hey, if you know anybody, let me know. Somebody did fix me up, and I did reach out to them when we chatted via text. I initiated it, even though somebody was trying to fix us both up, and then we spoke on the phone, but that didn't really work out. And then the next month, I wasn't really getting the hits on match that I wanted to, so I spent like, I think these boosts, which they boost your profile, I think I spent like over $100. 3 times I spent $35 for the boosts, and that really didn't seem to work. I mean, I spoke to a couple of people, but nobody interesting, right? So now I gotta realize, okay, 3rd month, that's not working out, I gotta shift gears. Now, going into the next major check-in, every month I'm taking a look, but a major check-in halfway point, where am I going? Now let's talk about my financial. For my financial, I'm already 40% of the way there, so chances are I'm gonna hit that. I'm not really concerned about that goal. The relationship thing I am concerned about, and I was considering going to an introduction service that'll cost like $2,000 or $3,000, but then that's going to counteract my goal of saving money in the investment fund. But I may wanna consider that, right? And then for my losing weight goal, I haven't done anything so far in these 3 months, and that's really concerning. My weight is very constant because I keep eating over my calories. Those are my 3 goals. So then this halfway point will be a major check-in. I have to do something drastic. But for my weight, last week I joined for $79, I joined a online Athlean-X service where I can follow along with the workout, and it's a lifetime for it's Athlean-X, Athleanx. And I love this guy, I forgot his name, but I've been doing his ab workout for a while. And so I did make a major, let's see what happens at the end of 30 days. You gotta evaluate the options. And then, so that's what we do. And then sometimes what people do is they reward themselves. Like when they get to a major milestone, like halfway, if they're really tracking well on their success, let's say you lost more than the 50% weight you're supposed to, or put away more than the 50% money, maybe you reward yourself by buying yourself a new outfit or something. For me, I don't want to spend any money rewarding myself because I want to put more in the account. I don't want to take it out. But that's what some people do to reward themselves. So this is really how I go about goal setting. And then I've actually made notes of what I would do here if I was really, really off my goal. Like for the relationship, I don't know yet what I would do, but I want to come up with something. But if I'm not near my monetary fund, I have a lot of expensive watches. I could sell them on eBay. I said, you know what? If I'm far off from this by the last quarter, I may sell a couple of my expensive watches because I am committed to making that goal. The weight loss, I'm hoping that'll be, I'm not really concerned about that. Once I really make up my mind, I'm sure I'll take it off. But I still have to think about how I'm going to have more success with the relationship part. I'm really at a loss at that right now. So, but anyway, again, you can see how you have the timeline created and you have all the little check-ins every month and every quarter, taking a deep, deep look at how you're doing it every quarter. I made notes and I wrote how am I doing on each one when I did my check-in yesterday. So I think, people do this in business. It's unheard of in business for you not to have a goals documented someplace and present to the upper management. I think we should all do that with our life. It's like your roadmap for success. Without that roadmap, you're not going to have it. I think it also tells you your commitment and also stares you in the face. Like, I'm so competitive that even though I'm only a quarter of the way there, I'm like really unhappy that I really haven't had major success in one area. I mean, financially I did, but it was I got a bonus from my company instead of having an expensive, like unbelievable closet, which was like ridiculously expensive. I said, you know what? I called the closet company. I'm not doing the closet. And I put that money in my unemployment fund. That got me like 30-something% there. I put some more money in. Now I'm 40%. So that one worked out. But the other two, I'm not really making any progress. And that was my quarterly check-in and notes to myself that I really need to step up my game on the other two. And I like staring at it. It reminds me that I need to get my act in gear. So anyway, that is my little chat on goal setting, SMART goals. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow, maybe.